David's moment of crisis, when everything was lost. The sun was setting as David and his warriors marched back to Ziklag, weary but victorious. They had fought under God's command, certain that his hand was upon them. But as they approached their city, something was wrong. The distant horizon, once familiar, was now filled with thick, black smoke. Their steps quickened, hearts pounding. Then reality struck. Ziklag was in ruins. The once thriving town was reduced to ashes. Worse still, their families were gone. No wives, no children. Everything had been taken. A silence heavier than war itself filled the air. Then came the cries. Mighty warriors, men who had faced countless battles, fell to their knees weeping. Their homes, their families, gone. Anguish turned to anger. Their eyes, once filled with loyalty, now turned toward David. "This is your fault," someone growled. "If we hadn't gone to war, our families would still be here." Another spat. David felt the weight of their grief. These were his men, his brothers in arms. Now they spoke of stoning him, but David did not respond with fear. He turned to the one who had never failed him. He stepped away from the chaos, from the accusations, and fell to his knees. "Lord, what should I do? Should I pursue them? Will I recover what was lost?" Then came the answer, strong and sure. "Pursue them, for you shall surely overtake them and recover all." 1 Samuel 38. With renewed strength, David stood before his weary warriors, his heart burning with renewed purpose. The same men who had moments ago spoken of stoning him now saw something different, a leader who had sought the face of God. "We ride, now." Without hesitation, the men mounted their horses, clenching their swords with fierce determination. They would not sit in their sorrow. They would fight for what was theirs. David and his 600 men rode swiftly, following the faint trail left by their enemies, the Amalekites. But the journey was harsh, and exhaustion weighed heavily on them. When they reached the brook Besor, 200 men could go no further. They were too weak. David did not scorn them. Instead, he told them to stay behind and guard the supplies while he and the remaining 400 pressed on. As they journeyed, they stumbled upon an Egyptian slave, abandoned and left for dead by the Amalekites. Weak and starving, he barely spoke. David knelt beside him, offering water and food. As strength returned to the man, David asked, "Who are you, and where do you come from?" The Egyptian revealed that he had been a servant of the very raiders they were pursuing. He had fallen ill, and his master had left him behind to die. Then came the question that changed everything. "Will you lead us to them?" The man nodded. "Swear to me by God that you won't kill me or hand me over, and I will take you to them." David agreed. The battle for restoration. The Egyptian led them to a valley where the Amalekites were feasting, drinking, and celebrating their victory. They thought they had won. David waited for the perfect moment, then struck. His men, fueled by righteous anger and the promise of God, fought from dusk until the next evening. Not a single enemy escaped. Every wife, every child, every possession was recovered. Not a single thing was missing. David and his men gathered their families, embracing them with tears of joy. The enemy had thought they had won, but God had the final say, sharing the victory. As they returned, they reunited with the 200 men who had stayed behind. Some of the warriors, those who had fought, suggested that the ones who stayed should not share in the spoils. But David, now full of wisdom and humility, declared, "No, my brothers, what the Lord has given us, we will share. He has preserved us and delivered the enemy into our hands. Those who stayed behind shall receive the same as those who fought." David had not only recovered all, but had also shown the true heart of a leader, one who honors both God and his people. No matter what you've lost, God can restore it all. Even when the enemy comes to steal your joy, your peace, your blessings, stand firm, seek God, and pursue. For he has promised, you will surely overtake them and recover all. 1 Samuel 38. Type Amen if you believe in divine restoration. Like, follow, subscribe, and share to spread the message.